guys, this is Landon Patton.
And I'm Kareena Varghese.
And I'm Julian Urbago.
And we're your hosts for today's podcast, except for Julian, he's our guest.
Woohoo.
Alright, so the topic we're going to go on and discuss is, do we think that homework is a necessary evil?
Absolutely.
And why would you say that?
Well, just from different perspective as an elementary student, I just remember having just all this homework due by the end of the day, almost every day, or we would get those weekly packets. Did you ever get those?
I don't.
Those weekly packets of
I was homeschooled until 4th grade. So
Really?
Okay,
yeah.
This is new.
Okay. Let's actually talk about that first. How did that?
Well, okay, so I was
How did
born.
that work? How did homework work for you if you were homeschooled?
I was born at a very young age, and basically.
You were born at a very young age.
Were
Is that what
we
you
all?
said?
Yes,
Okay.
I was. It was really tragic, actually. Anyways, what worked for that was, it was basically I wake up at whenever I woke up. It was from 10 to 3, pretty much, and I'd work with my mom for 3 to 4 hours.
Do you want to restart?
Anyways, I basically work with my mom for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. I don't know. It varied day to day based on what I had to get done. And then there wasn't really a concept of homework. It was just, all right, well, we're learning this, and then you do this practice set. For math, for example, it'd be okay, you do these 15 problems, and then we'll call math done for the day. And it was pretty simple because you go through the lesson in 5-10 minutes, and then ask questions while I was doing homework, and my teacher was right there. And it was like that for all of my subjects.
So you didn't really do homework, because that's pretty much what you do in a regular school. You learn it, you do a practice, and then they assign homework on it.
Yeah, but the time frame is way different.
Yeah.
Because even high school, middle school, it's 30 minutes to learn the topic, because the teacher has to be very broad for the whole class, and there's not enough time for a student to just blurt out a question that would help clarify things quicker. So it was a very condensed time frame.
I feel like it was kind of similar because back in I feel like it was kind of similar to the whole time frame because back in 2020, me and Landon were both in 6th grade. You were in what?
7th, or you two are sophomores, right?
Yeah.
So I was in 8th. Yeah.
Okay, so basically,
Okay.
whenever we were back at Griffin, whenever we had that whole end of 6th.
You have to be talking about that.
I really don't like this. Okay.
Just pull it closer to you.
I don't want to break anything. Okay. Well, I guess back in 6th grade, whenever COVID originally happened, and we had that lockdown, our homework thing.
Oh my God, you guys were in 6th grade when that happened. Oh.
I was actually on vacation when I found out about lockdown, and I somehow got back in. But whenever lockdown happened, the teachers had to do a whole switch. So I guess we kind of had, basically how Griffin kind of did it. They kind of did this as, okay, well, here are your assignments for the week. Just get them done by the end of the week. So I guess it's kind of similar to that homeschooling aspect. We didn't really get to ask questions. Our only form of communication to the teachers was email, and even then, sometimes that didn't work that well. But I guess it kind of felt like homeschool for the people who didn't really have it.
I also remember that it was I'm gonna say it was elementary. I got a lot of homework as an elementary student, but then middle school happened, and I moved here because I went from Littleton to Frisco. And then Frisco doesn't believe in homework. That was one of the first things. I was oh, we don't get homework, and then they're we don't really do homework here, and I was what? Frisco's I just remember they said that they had a policy of not handing out homework, and I was really kind of shocked by that. But in elementary, I remember it was either every day they gave us a practice thing to do at home, and then or there would be a packet and we have to do it within the week. But I just remember 1st grade, kindergarten, the spelling tests.
Oh my gosh.
And just jeez, I hated having to every night go home, go through a whole day of school pretty much, and then at home practice spelling tests until 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then I'd watch TV for an hour and brush my teeth, go to bed. I don't know, I feel that was kind of brutal to do every day. I didn't really have a lot of time necessarily to just enjoy life as a kid after school. And yeah, I don't know, I feel especially when you're kids, because when you get older, you're gonna have a lot more outside responsibilities.
Right.
Like you should be able to have time, as much time as you can, to just enjoy life as a kid outside of school. Like go through your whole day of school, but then get home, just let them do whatever. Let them enjoy themselves while they kind of are, still at that young age.
I second that. As also someone who moved into Frisco ISD, I moved in 2018 from Chicago, and they had a very different kind of homework standard. I realized once I moved here, down in 5th grade, that they kind of cared about homework a lot more here than they did in Chicago. In Chicago, they almost never gave us homework. They're like, okay, well, here's just like one little sheet of paper, just turn it in, read 20 minutes a day. That's all you had to do. And I moved down here, and then all of a sudden it's like a load of homework. They're like, all right, you gotta do this, 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 and this. And then once you get to middle school, you get a lot more. Once you get to high school, even a lot more.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
Because in Griffin, I didn't get any homework.
Really? Okay, I got a lot in Griffin.
Well, did you take those higher up classes?
I did everything I did at Griffin was advanced.
Okay, and I did not. I know the on level stuff you didn't get homework, but advanced, I remember them making it clear if you take advanced classes, you have to actually put in time and have enough time to do all this homework and stuff. So that's why I was okay, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and connecting back to what you said about just go to school and have that once you get home just kind of relax kind of thing. I felt like that also kind of changed for me as well. Whenever I lived in Chicago, all was go home, maybe do 20 minutes of homework. I was done. Then I got to relax. Once I moved here, I moved, did school, got home, did homework for way longer than what I did in Chicago, and then I'd have extracurriculars, and then I'd finally be able to relax. It was just
that's crazy.
It was endless work for me.
In high school, middle school, I feel like I had more homework in elementary school, more than middle school and high school combined.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What elementary school did you go to here?
I went to Griffin.
No, elementary.
Elementary? Well, I was in Little Elm at the time, so went from Zellers. This elementary called Zellers that closed down when I was in 2nd grade, and then I went to Chavez Elementary.
Interesting. Okay.
And
then you went to Griffin.
And then I went to PAL for a year. There's a 6th grade center called PAL for only 6th graders, and then you would go to the 7th and 9th grade middle school.
Which then you went to Griffin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My whole thing of it with this is obviously homeschooling. I didn't really have homework because we did it all in class. But then I went to Griffin I went to Eastside Christian School the start of my 4th grade year, right? So it's this tiny private school in Bellevue, Washington. Pretty place. It's not fun to live in though. Anyways, so I went there, and the homework load wasn't super difficult per se. It was maybe 1 or 2 assignments per day or something like that. But for me, it was really difficult because I have ADHD, and I was severely struggling with it at that time, and the academics were up to pace where I was uniquely challenged every day. Where it's okay, well, this is something I don't understand, and I got to learn it, and that was great for me. I enjoyed that aspect of it. Great, I'm learning stuff, and so at that time, by my 6th grade year, I was in pre-algebra or something, and so 6th grade. COVID hit halfway through, and the school shut down, and so we were okay, let's move to Texas, right?
You moved during COVID?
Yeah, it was great because there was no traffic. There was it was a perfect time to move. Anyways, we traveled down to Texas, and I started going to Griffin, and for me it was there was no academic challenge, right? Because one, they forced me to do pre-algebra again, and I was all right, I've done 2 years of this already. I don't need to be here. But all of the classes were very easy, right? It was all stuff I had already learned, and so I get homework, I just wouldn't do it. So I never really built up those studying and homework skills because it was originally very difficult for me, and then it wasn't difficult, so I didn't have to do it. And now I'm hitting high school, and it's effectively a full-time job plus some, because I'm going to school from 9 to 5. And so that's 8 hours, and then I get maybe an hour lunch break in total. That is the break we get. And then I have homework for a majority of my classes, a majority of my core classes that I have. I've gotten really good at being diligent in class and working on it, but I still have stuff that I have to go home and work on. And I just think it's insane. Because if you think about it from like a work perspective of like, right, you have to work from 9 to 5 majority of the time for a lot of jobs. But when you get home, your work's done. You don't have to worry about your work, and then you don't have to worry about that. You have to keep up with your home. You have to cook food. You have to do laundry. But that's different. That's not monotonous. So for me, it's really challenging.
Yeah, because as someone like who has like an actual job outside of school or after school, like I literally don't have time for like any like homework or outside of school stuff. Like, because like I would do like last year, my junior year, I would go to school 9 to 5, or I'd go to school like 9. We get out like 4:25, and then immediately I would walk to work to clock in at 5 o'clock, and then I'd be done at 10, and then I'd go home. And it's just like that was like 3 days out of the 5-day school day week, and then I'd also work on like the weekends.
Well, I guess kind of connecting back to the topic. Well, do you guys think that homework is necessary or no? Do you think it's like taking a toll on students, or do you think it's actually going to be beneficial?
No, I mean like maybe for like those like AP classes, it might be helpful, but like anything that's like just sticking to the curriculum, I don't think it should. Like, if you can learn in the classroom and practice what you've learned, that should be enough, hopefully. And if you still feel like you're struggling, and I feel like that's up to the kid, especially in high school, when they need to go to like any after school or during school, like because we have power lunch for like tutorials or whatever. Like, I feel like it's like up to the kid, like integrity to like go and get the help that they need. But I mean, I don't think it should. Like,
yeah, that's kind of my take on it as well. Of like, if you're not able to fit all of the content, like learning and also practice and work, in the hour-and-a-half span, which, mind you, is way longer than what other schools and many other districts have. If you're unable to fit it in that hour-and-a-half span, and you're not able to give students work that they're able to complete in class effectively, I think then that standard is way too high.
Yeah.
And if you like, probably the only homework I think you should do is like any unfinished work.
Yeah,
Right.
I can agree with that as well. And then if they're like, I feel like some homework should be optional. Like, I feel like it should be given. Be like, hey, if you need like extra practice, then here, you can do this. But AP classes, for like you said, I think it'd be more important because those could potentially get you into ahead in colleges and stuff like that. But that's kind of where my thinking's at. But yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Boo homework.
Boo homework.
Boo homework.
All right. I want to thank you, Julian, for coming in today to the studio. You have some great insight on it, and I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.